Here are 7 things you should really know if you really want to start winning in League of Legends. Hello and welcome. I do a lot of things here on this YouTube channel. One of the things that I've started doing is making a whole database of guides to League of Legends. Everything from champions to just general knowledge to objectives to items, levels, all that good stuff. You'll be able to find it here. I also have a League podcast called the League Stratum Podcast, the show, the LS show, where I talk about more professional League of Legends, but also other stuff, LCS mainly, but other stuff as well. I also do a lot of community reaction stuff. So if you look at my shorts, you'll see a lot of me reacting to community posts or making up my own posts. Regardless, you're here to learn how to win more League of Legends games and what to do better, how to improve. And so I will be discussing 7 things. I think number 4 is the most important, but I put number 4 because a lot of people talk about it. They used to talk about it a lot. They don't talk about it as much right now because they just assume everyone knows. I've been seeing a lot of Reddit posts saying like, where are the guides? We don't know. And people responding, you should know by now. The game has been out for 13 years, but there aren't any guides. So I decided to make a whole database. Anyways, let's begin. So I'm in a custom game. That is not how you spell resume. And so I'm able to pause. Normally, you can't pause. You probably can't do this in your games. But number 1, sticking to champions. What do I mean by sticking to champions? Right now, I'm using Dr. Mundo. If I play Dr. Mundo one game, and then I play Ashe the next game, and then I play a 3rd champion, and a 4th champion, and a 5th champion, and every game I keep changing champions, it's very hard to get good at one champion. Think of musical instruments. If I play the violin, then the flute, then the piano, then a guitar, then the cello, then a trumpet, and every day I keep changing, I'm not going to get good at any of them. So my recommendation, find the ones you really enjoy. If there's one that you really enjoy, just play it. 2, probably stick with 3. Really, you shouldn't be playing more than 3, especially when you're in the beginning and you don't know like what's going on. Like, what are these towers, right? Like, well, what am I supposed to do? Jungle, and like, if you don't know what these terms mean, you should really just stick to one champion, really learn the game instead of the champion, and then once you learn more about the game, you'll play against different champions, and you'll be like, hey, I want to do what that guy's doing. That's so cool. And then you main that champion. So really sticking with the champion will teach you a lot about the game, not just the champion, but the game in general. That's number 1. Number 2, read ability information. You might think, okay, well, what does Mundo's Q do? Let me look. Okay, he hurls his Bonesaw, dealing 20% current health magic damage to the first enemy hit and slowing them by 40% for 2 seconds. If the Bonesaw hits a champion or monster, Dr. Mundo restores 50 HP. You see, that means if you hit a champion or monster, you restore HP. You would be surprised that people don't know that because they don't read the full thing. Let's keep going. If it hits a non-champion or non-monster, Dr. Mundo instead restores 25 health. It also costs 50 health, right? Did you miss that? It's also a 4-second cooldown. That's not only what I mean by reading the ability. I want you to press shift to show even more information, right? It deals a minimum of 80 damage. So even though it's 20% current health, if the person has 2 health, how much damage is it going to do? If it has 10 health, is it going to do 2 health? No, there's a minimum of 80 damage and a maximum of 350 magic damage. So it does magic damage, which means if I'm playing against the Mundo, I want magic resist. But it does magic damage to jungle monsters. It also tells you how well it scales. So if I have 1 point, so level 1 Q will give me 20% current health damage. Level 5 will give me 30%, right? The minimum damage also goes up as I level up. The health cost also goes up, so it costs more health to cast it as I level up, right? This information is important, but you wouldn't know it if you're just like, oh, I know that Mundo, when I press Q, he does wee, and that's it, right? There's a lot to that ability, right? Especially the health restore is very important. Before it used to be different as well, so as things change, the scaling and whatnot changes. Speaking of scaling, that's number 3. When I press shift, maybe that wasn't the best idea. Yeah, let me level up 1 more and 1 more. So when I go to my W, right, I can see that it does 20 magic damage. Now that's just 20 magic damage. There's no parentheses. But when I look at additionally, he stores 82% of damage. And there's these 2 white arrows in the parentheses. That means it scales with HP, with level, right? So it starts off at 80% and it goes all the way up to 95%. The more I level up, the more points I put in this level, in the ability, the more damage it'll store, right? Then if you look at his recast, dealing 22, and then there's a heart. That means it scales with, what is heart? Health. The more health I have, the more magic damage I will do. So instead of doing 22, I'm going to buy something. I'm going to buy a ruby crystal. So I used to do 22, now it does 33. Why? Because I have more health. Now, the exact scale, it tells you it's 20 base damage plus 7% your bonus health. So this is 150, 7%. I'm not doing that math. Isn't that just 10 point something? 10.5? Yeah, probably 10.5. Magic damage. Oh, here's 13 or 12. I don't know. Numbers are hard. Anyways, but it does magic damage. That's important. It doesn't do health damage. It does magic damage. But it does more magic damage depending on how much health you have. So that can be a little confusing, is you're buying ability power, but you're doing magic damage. You're buying health, but you're doing magic damage. If you look at, where is it? It's his E. If you look at his E, his passive, Dr. Mundo gains 19 attack damage, and it scales with health. The more health I have, so I'm gonna buy another ruby crystal, and it goes from 19 to 22. Right, the scaling clearly is less. It's 2% of my health. So 2% of whatever 1100 is, that's how much attack damage Mundo gains from his E. So right now I don't have any points in it, so I don't get anything. Right, so my attack damage is 65. Once I put a point in it, it goes up to 87. The more health I have, the more attack damage I will get. The more magic damage I do with my W. So you can see health is really important on Mundo, right? Does that make sense? Scaling is very important. It tells you what you probably want to build because that's what his abilities scale with. Number 4, which I think is the most important, is last hitting. Let me unlock the camera. As you can see here, there are minions. And as they die, they give you experience if you're in a certain range. If I'm all the way over here, you can see I'm level 3 because I leveled myself manually, but I would be level 1 0 experience. Right? I'm 0 out of 480. And I will stay 0 out of 480 unless... where's a place where minions are dying? Unless I move over here. Right? So as this minion dies, you can look at my gold. It keeps going up by about 1.5 every second. But my XP is going up. Right? This is just passive gold generation. This is because I'm close to the minions as they die. If I go really far away, I won't get anything. But I didn't get any extra gold. I just got the normal passive amount of gold that I get all the time. Right? But if I go over here and I actually kill a minion myself, so I do the last hit of damage, right? So if I do the last hit of damage, you saw that plus 21? That minion died, I didn't get any plus 21. But if I go here and I kill that, I get plus 14. If I kill this, if I do the damage, I get plus 14. Here, I didn't get anything. It just died. So last hitting is very important. That's how you get gold. That's how you buy items, and that's how you get strong, right? Items and XP are the two ways to get stronger. If you have more gold and more XP, like a higher level than your opponent, you're probably going to win the game. Number 5, XP. I already talked about it, but XP is very important because it gives you more points in your abilities, meaning they do more damage, or they're more useful, or their cooldown is shorter. And it also gives you stats, right? You can see right now, my health, for example, 1187. The more I level up, I'm not buying any items, right? But it's just going up passively. Right? Even my attack damage, 103, 107, 112. My armor, 63 goes to 67. My MR, 47 goes to 49. As I level up, I just get passive stats, which is like a lot of gold, right? 150 HP is about 400 gold. It costs 400 gold to buy this. If I level up once, I'm at 1909. That was about, probably 300 gold worth, maybe more. That's a lot of gold that you're getting just in XP from XP. So leveling up is really important. If I'm level 12 and he's level 10, chances are I'm going to win, even if we have the same items, or even if I have slightly worse items, right? I'm probably going to do better. So XP is really important. Make sure you're in range for XP. Don't stand too far, and make sure you get the last hits as well for the gold. So gold and XP, that's what you want. Number 6, hotkeys. If you press Shift and R or any of these abilities, it'll level it up. So right now, it wants me to put another level in Q. So you can see it's like blinking. I'm gonna press Shift Q. Oh, I missed Shift. Wait. Oh, sorry, Control. What am I saying? Shift. Control Q, Control W, Control E, and Control R. I level up my abilities using that. What's another one? Tab. If you hold tab, it'll show you the scoreboard. It'll show you all the enemies here, what their levels are, what items they have, what you can see, your allies, the score. It'll show you the dragon. It'll show you a timer for Baron. It'll show you whether buffs are up or not. You can also just press O and let go, and it'll stay open, but then you have to press O again. If you press P, it'll open up the shop. I have it attached to X, so if I press P, it does nothing. What else? There's Y. Y locks and unlocks your camera. I removed it. I don't play with my camera locked. So normally if I want to center it, I'll just press space. That's another tip I'll give in a little bit. I'm actually going to give more than 7, but we'll get to that. So yeah, there's a lot of hotkeys. You can go here and you can go to, where is it? I think it's game. No, it's interface. No. Oh, hotkeys. Haha. You can see here all of the, I've changed some of these. As you can see, I don't really want to go into mine specifically. You can do whatever works for you, but you can pretty much set whatever. Oh, F keys. Oh. Why is it not working? Oh, because I'm the only person in the game, obviously. It'll F1 through 4 usually goes through your allies, so if you want to see what they're doing, you can just press that instead of like scrolling on the minimap. You can also make your minimap bigger. I made mine as big as it can be. There's some modifications you can do. The last thing I wanted to talk about, so number 7, is what to do when you kill enemy champions. So let's say you just had a team fight a dragon, right? You got the dragon or you got the baron and everyone died. The first thing you should always do, and this will win you games and it's won me games, is look. Look around the map. Look at where you should be and whether you should recall or not. So the first thing I do, let's say I'm here, dragon, we just aced them, right? Dragon still isn't dead. All of them are dead. I would probably, like, if the dragon was dead, I would go here and pick up the minion wave, right? I wouldn't just back or go mid and attack. I would pick up all this gold. If you just don't look around the map, you won't know what to do. So it sounds very simple, but it's actually quite important. Like, looking around the map, finding out what objectives. Maybe their blue buff is up, right? You can take the blue buff, and then you can base. You don't have any of your camps up. Maybe all your camps up. You're going to clear all your camps and then base. Maybe Baron's up, and you're just going to go to Baron and take Baron or Rift Herald. Unless you look after a team fight, especially because you have all the time in the world, well, as long as they're dead, now you have control of the map. So you should figure out what you want to do, whether it's to take the tower, whether it's to take another objective, whether it's to back and then do something else, whether there's a huge minion wave that you need to take. After getting kills, you should always be looking at the map. You should always be looking at the map regardless, but especially after getting kills. I actually completely forgot what my extra tips were, but yeah, I will keep it at 7. 7 it is. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments. I'm going to be actively making a bunch of videos. I will be talking about specific champions, especially the 10 starter champions. So you start with Mundo, Ashe. Who else do you start with? I have no idea. Brand, Lux, I think. Caitlyn, Darius, Garen, Master Yi, Misfortune, Sivir. So you start with a few champions. I will be making guides to them. I'll be telling you what items, what runes, what playstyles you should be playing with, what these summoner spells are, just how to understand everything in the UI. So if I go here, there's like all these stuff and like what does lifesteal is pretty obvious. What's the difference between lifesteal and vamp? What is magic penetrate? What is lethality versus armor? What is last stand and triumph and all these things? So what is this little icon? Mundo goes where he pleases. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I'll be doing all that. Also, B sends you to base. This is your fountain. You should probably know that by now. Yeah, I think that is it. Oh, I think the extra tip that I was going to talk about was about attack moving, but I'll do a whole video on attack moving. So see you guys next time.